Hacking Active Directory, a beginner's journey. Let's dive into the world of hacking Active Directory, a high-level overview. Think of this as a guide to setting up a lab and learning essential techniques for understanding and exploiting Active Directory environments, starting with virtual machines and ending with some powerful hacking tools. Virtual machines, the foundation of the lab. Imagine having multiple computers running on a single physical machine. That's what virtual machines do. They're like having tiny houses inside a giant mansion. To set up your lab, we start with software like VMware Workstation Player for Windows and Linux, or Oracle VirtualBox for Mac. The setup is easy, but there's one catch. You need decent hardware. Ideally, 16 gigabytes of RAM is recommended, though you can scrape by with 8 gigabytes, if you don't mind a little lag. Pro tip, you can try out VMware Workstation Pro for 30 days and enjoy its extra features. Installing Kali Linux, your ethical hacking Swiss Army knife. Next up is Kali Linux. This isn't just any Linux distribution, it's tailored for ethical hacking. Why? It comes preloaded with tools for penetration testing. Once you've downloaded the Kali ISO, unzip it with 7-zip, import it into your VM software, and allocate about 2 to 4 gigabytes of RAM. Don't forget to configure the network adapter to NAT to simulate real-world connections. Voila! You're ready to explore a world of hacking tools without leaving your desk. Active Directory Basics, the phone book of the network. Active Directory is the backbone of many networks, acting like a phone book for devices, users, and permissions. It uses Kerberos authentication, which involves tickets. Fun fact, Active Directory is used by 95% of Fortune 1000 companies, which makes it a hot target for pen testers. Its biggest weakness? Many organizations overlook internal security, leaving default features open to exploitation. Building the lab, where the fun begins. To replicate a real-world Active Directory environment, we build a lab with one Windows Server 2019 machine and 2 Windows 10 Enterprise machines. This setup mimics the typical corporate network. The minimum requirements are 16 gigabits of RAM and 60 gigabits of disk space. Download the necessary ISOs, configure the virtual machines, and set up DHCP and NAT networking. Once your machines are up and running, you're ready to configure Active Directory. Configuring Active Directory users, policies, and more. Setting up AD is where the magic happens. First, promote the server to a domain controller and establish your domain, like mycompany.local. Then add user groups. Be creative. Use historical figures if you like. Just avoid assigning admin level permissions to service accounts. This is a common mistake. Group policies also play a key role. For simplicity, we disable Windows Defender in the lab, ensuring it doesn't interfere with our learning exercise. File shares are enabled for SMB testing, and service principal names, SPNs, are set up to explore Kerber roasting later. Joining machines to the domain. Each Windows machine in the lab is joined to the domain. Once connected, users can log in using their domain credentials. For example, if your domain is mycompany.local, a user like JDoe can log in with a simple password. This setup mirrors the real-world scenario where domain credentials grant access across the network. Attacking Active Directory. Let the hacking begin. With the lab in place, it's time to unleash Kali Linux and dive into the world of AD attacks. Techniques like Kerber roasting and pass the hash allow us to exploit AD's authentication mechanisms. Using Kali's pre-installed utilities, we'll learn to uncover vulnerabilities and understand how attackers think. Wrapping up, learn, practice, repeat. This journey is just beginning. The focus here is on mastering the basics, building the lab, understanding Active Directory, and exploring fundamental attack techniques. From here, you can dive deeper into advanced tactics and stay updated with the ever-changing landscape of cybersecurity. Remember, being a good penetration tester is all about persistence, curiosity, and staying ahead of the curve. Happy hacking!